time for the Greek of the week. And I'm going to do another verse from Hebrews 8 because I still haven't done the podcast on Hebrews 8 yet. So this is the last verse of Hebrews 8. It's a very important verse because it gives us a sense of the way that Hebrews frames time. And it comes after the longest quotation of the Old Testament in the Bible, in the New Testament, and that's Jeremiah 31 is quoted in Hebrews 8, which is the passage in Jeremiah 31 about the new covenant. Days are coming, says the Lord, when I will make a new covenant. And so that's where we join this verse in progress. Ento legein kainein pepalaioken tain protein. So when saying new covenant, he has made old the first covenant. The first covenant is now the old covenant. That's where we get the idea of the Old Testament. The first covenant with Israel is the old covenant that has now been made old by the new covenant. This is the way Hebrews understands it. Don't get upset with me. I'm just interpreting Hebrews. We got to let the Bible say what it says, right? We can't say, well, I don't like that theology. Well, handle it in your theology. Let the Bible say what it says, and then handle it in theology. But anyway, ento legein, this is an infinitive game, an infinitive construction. Ento infinitive, that's a temporal or a timing game. So it doesn't come into English in any kind of straightforward way. It's literally in the to say or in the to be saying. And that's not good English. So we have to play with it. So we have to put it in our Greek computer and ding, put it in our Greek pipe and smoke it. It's going to be an idiomatic thing. It takes a little getting used to. You can't take it literally. You got to get the feel for it. And eventually it's fun. But so legein, 6 of the 7 infinitives end in I. The one that doesn't is ein, and it's usually used with the present infinitive. And in fact, since leg is the present stem, nothing done to it, this is a present active infinitive from Lego. So to, when the infinitive has an article on it, it's when it's being used abstractly, the to say. A lot of times we might translate that in English with a gerund, saying, abstractly, in the saying. When the infinitive has an article like that, the articular infinitive, it will be a neuter singular article. The infinitive is constructed with a neuter singular article. To is dative because n is a preposition, and prepositions, as I say, are little dictators. You will be in the dative case if you're going to be with me. Anyway, sorry if that offended you. Didn't mean to. But anyway, n takes the dative. Actually, prepositions are helpful. I'm maligning them. I'm going to get a slander lawsuit from the Preposition Guild. But anyway, so in the to say, new, when Jeremiah 31 says it's a new covenant, this is Hebrews talking here. So when Jeremiah 31 says God has introduced a new covenant, he has made old the first covenant. Pepalaioken. Well, the kappa, reduplication on the front, I'm thinking this is perfect active, and it is. So the first letter of palaio, to be old. It's the P got a little beside itself, put an epsilon in there. Kappa is the alpha, is the perfect active indicator. So we have a perfect active indicative. It's third singular. A new with an epsilon in front of it is almost always a movable new. Throw it away. Epsilon is a very common third person singular ending, usually past tense. As we've seen before, the perfect tense isn't really a past tense, but it uses those endings. So it is third person singular, perfect active indicative from palaio, to make old. So God has made old the first, and it's still old. So the first covenant is, and it's a wrap. First covenant is done. Now I realize that a lot of people are going to say, no, that's bad theology. Hebrews doesn't care. We handle those things in theology class, but in exegesis, we let Hebrews say what it says. Don't tinker with the interpretation of Hebrews because of theological questions you have. So he has made, and it remains old. That is, the first covenant is now old. And the palaiumenon kai graskon engus aphanismu. Okay, so when he says new covenant, he has made old, and it's still old, the first covenant, and the being made old and obsolescent is near of disappearance. So again, deal with it. This is not, no, it's fulfilled. It's fulfilled. It's not done away with. The old covenant's not done away with. It's just on up. I'm sorry, Hebrews doesn't think that way. Hebrews thinks of the old covenant as done, disappeared, gone. Of course, when Hebrews talks about the old covenant, it is primarily talking about the Levitical system, the sacrificial system of the Old Testament. That's primarily what it has in mind. And of course, there are other images in Hebrews 2 that supplement this, the idea of foreshadowing and so forth. And Hebrews 10 will make it clear that the Levitical system was never intended to actually take away sins. Anyway, that's to come in the podcast eventually. So palai umenon, okay, men are passive participles. And this is palai all the letters of the present stem are there. So this is a present passive participle. It is nominative neuter singular. The article never lies. So that's neuter singular. I'm going to go with nominative because it seems to be kind of the subject of its clause. It's the being made old thing, that which has been made old, and obsolescent. I could say obsolete. Obsolete's a translation of this word. That which has been made old, or that which is being made old, and that which is obsolescent is nearly disappeared. By the way, some debate about what this might imply about whether the temple is standing or not. I think Luke Timothy Johnson argues, I think it's him, that this means the temple must still be standing. I don't see that at all as a necessary implication, because it wouldn't have been obvious to a Jew living in the year 75 that the temple was gone for good. I mean, it's obvious to us, 2,000 years later that the temple's gone for good, but you could very easily argue that the Jews would have expected the temple to be rebuilt, and that it was really not until after the Bar Kokhba revolt dashed all the hopes, and I'll say this if I ever get the podcast done, which it will be done. Let's say this Saturday, I'll try to get the podcast done for this week. All right. Well, this has been the Greek of Zavik.